All righty, guys. Welcome into the AfterSchrock. Appreciate you joining us here for this. Will be a brief AfterSchrock, and this week it has to actually be brief. We have a whole slew of holidays. We're hosting all the families. All the families are belong to us this holiday season, and they are coming to our house. So the lovely Kimberly has instructed me to make sure I make this a brief one because she has to get to Hy-Vee before everybody gets out of church. So she was like, "Oh my gosh, should you know?" Do you think they're going to go early because they're going to go to church on Christmas and oh no. So we're trying to figure this out. So it's going to be an interesting experiment. We'll let you know how it goes. But this is the Aftershock. This is your opportunity to ask questions that may not necessarily fit comfortably into the show. If you have something that I try to keep up on the comments that are posted on the side over here. Facebook doesn't always update them very quickly, and I have to scroll a lot. Unfortunately, while I'm managing the clock and managing the stories and doing everything else all around, I don't have a whole lot of time to reply sometimes, so I try to do it during the commercial breaks. So if I missed your comment or your question, please feel free to ask it now, and then I'll make sure we get you covered here. So good to see you, Keith. Donuts $4.99 for 2 dozen at Hy-Vee. Holy cow! This T-shirt's getting a little tight as it is, guys. I've been doing really well this holiday season. I'm even, right? I have not gained weight. I have not lost weight. I am even, but I'm burning 3,500 calories a week on the treadmill just to hold even. To give you an idea, if you burn 3,000 calories exercising, that's the equivalent of 1 pound of fat loss. So, yeah, I'm holding even. If I miss a day on the treadmill, that's bad. Because the problem is I'm so busy during the week. Like, okay, so Fridays, I'm off, completely off on Friday. So my wife and I, we have that reserved. That's date day. We take the whole day. I take the whole day off. And of course, I'm a business owner, so the phone rings. I take calls and stuff if I have to. But the day is reserved, basically. We go take in a movie. We spend time together. We have dinner together. It allows us to reconnect. We get a sitter for the kids so that we have mommy and daddy time. It's a good thing. My wife forced me to start doing it years ago, and I'm thankful every Friday that she does because I am a workaholic, and I will just work all the time if you let me. So Friday in the morning, I usually have time to squeeze in a run. Now, I have 3 days a week I can run. So to burn 3,500 calories a week on the treadmill, that means I got to do a little over 1,000 calories. So I run 3 or 4 miles and I'll walk a couple because I take breaks because I'm not a marathoner or anything. And then Saturday, usually back on the treadmill, I can hit it again. Sunday, boom, I can do that. And then Monday comes and it's back to the office. So, you get up at 7. Daughter's got to be at school by 8, so we get her to school at 8. Then I head into the shops, and by the time I get back from Lincoln, it's usually 6. It's dinner time. We have dinner, maybe watch a show, TV or something, spend some time, play a game with the kids, and then it's bedtime, bath time, the whole bit, and then rinse and repeat Tuesday through Thursday. So there's not a whole lot of time to work out in there for Dad, and there's no time in there to work out for Mom. So, it's we try to get it in where we can. So, fortunately for me, my wife is an amazing cook, and so she has treats that she only makes during Christmas. I will ask her to make these oatmeal raisin bars, which we found are even better with craisins instead of raisins. I'll ask her to make them throughout the year, and she's like, nope, that's a Christmas thing. On my birthday, she makes them for me, just because, and they're just for me. They're mine, my pan. Give it to me. Like I'm eating them prison style here. But that's the only time of year. So it's like the Reese's peanut butter thing, the peanut butter eggs only come out during Easter. If you don't eat the peanut butter eggs during Easter, you're not going to eat a peanut butter egg. If you don't eat the oatmeal raisin bars in Christmas time, you're not going to get oatmeal raisin bars. And if you don't eat them quickly, someone else will eat them for you. Just saying, it's a rough life, guys. It's a rough life. All right, so here we go. Questions. Is there a recommended antivirus for Android? Honestly, there's not a really... The need for antivirus on mobile platforms isn't quite there yet, because pretty much the only way a virus can get into your mobile device is through installing an app that's compromised. And most apps, when they're released, they're not compromised at first, and then there's an update that's pushed out that compromises the app intentionally, making it malicious, and then eventually Google finds out about it and they kick it out of the Play Store, and then it's gone. And when they kick it out, it automatically removes it from your phone. But because of the protections that are in place on iPhones as well as Android devices, it's getting more and more and more difficult to access the system root, which is what you need to do to infect a device. That's why on your Windows 10 computer now, when you're installing a program, you have to click yes to allow. You're giving it permission to access the root of the system. So that in the past, like with Windows XP, stuff would just access the root all the time automatically. It was like it was assumed you were the administrative user. Boom, you have access. And everything just worked, which was great. Everybody loved XP because everything just worked. Virus makers loved XP because every virus just worked. It was great. Now it's a little trickier, and it's even more trickier. But there is a couple recommendations that I have out there. Lookout is really good, although I used to recommend them wholeheartedly. Lookout is really good. There's a free version and a paid version. If you subscribe to the paid version, by golly, you write down what card you used and what your account number is. Because I have a $3.99 a month subscription to Lookout, and I am not running Lookout on any of my devices anymore. And I can't cancel this thing. And every month they hit my card for $4. And it's just enough to tick me off, but not enough for me to go native on the thing and like start opening up chargeback disputes and everything else. And I've gone online, I've entered in all the email addresses I can think of. All of my services are canceled, but they keep billing me $4 a month. So maybe I should just call them and try to resolve it, but that'd be the logical thing to do. But again, every morning I get up, there's a long list of things to do, and the $4.99 thing is probably the bottom of the list. So, but I'll have to call them. But yeah, Lookout is good. I recommend the free version wholeheartedly. The paid version has some interesting benefits, but doesn't really give you any additional security. All the benefits are ancillary and offered by free apps, I might add now as well. Hi, Mary. How are you? Keith, I'm frozen. I'm just frozen for you, Keith. I'm chilling out for you, Keith. Refresh the page. It should be all right. Hey, Brian. How's it going? Gary, back for the AfterSchrock. I like it. Opera, not a good product. Is Opera a good product? The Opera browser. I'm indifferent to it. It used to be a bigger player than it is now. Opera was the native browser, I believe, in IBM's OS Warp operating system back when OS Warp was competing with Windows back in the Windows 9X era. And then Opera went open source after that. So here's the thing. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. The Edge browser, Microsoft is giving up on browsers because they couldn't make Internet Explorer secure. So they told you to stop using it in 2015. It is shocking how many people still use Internet Explorer. Some government entities have to use Internet Explorer because that's the only thing their software will work with. It's shocking. So there's that aspect of it. Then you had Edge, which was the new browser that came out for Windows 10. You had Google Chrome, the browser where Google spies on everything you do. And then you have Firefox, which is an open source browser. So you had 3 different engines to choose from. And there were all these battles back and forth about whose engine was the fastest, blah, 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 blah. Microsoft Edge is now given up completely, and they are going to install the Chromium engine in their browser. So Google Chrome is the open source Chromium. So Google made an open source browser called Chromium. And Google Chrome is an implementation of Chromium. So now Microsoft is saying we're going to give an implementation of Chromium, and that excuse me, that implementation will allow us to spy like Google does. Yay! And then Google doesn't get access to the system through Chromium. Of course, Firefox is completely open source. It is completely non-profit. There is no spyware or malware. Firefox does not monitor what you do with the browser. The data that you share with Firefox is exclusively for Firefox use. It is not shared with third parties. It's a great browser, guys. I would recommend it wholeheartedly. I'm using Chrome right now because here's what killed Edge. Over half of the computing population uses the Chrome browser. Okay, so when you're designing websites, what's the first browser you're going to test with? Chrome. So Facebook Live actually works better in Google Chrome than it does in Firefox. It tends to crash in Firefox sometimes. It runs great in Chrome. It doesn't run very well in Edge at all. So now that Edge is going to be Chromium based, everything is going to work with Edge just like it works with Chrome. It's going to be great. And Firefox is now the only independent engine out there. If Firefox goes away, Google literally owns, through either directly through Google Chrome or indirectly through its open source Chromium product, which, by the way, it could make not open source at any time, the entire browsing world. anything that anyone types in anywhere. Now, of course, there's Safari, but everyone knows Safari's junky. Even Apple users don't like Safari. Everybody knows, well, some people know about Opera is another browser, but again, nobody tests anything with Opera anymore. So you tend to have websites that don't really work well. And that's what killed Edge. To get Windows or Microsoft Edge was only available on Windows 10. So that was one of the pushes. Don't use Internet Explorer. It's not safe. You want to use Edge, and you can't get Edge on Windows 7, so you should upgrade to Windows 10. That was one of the initial pushes to get people into 10. So Edge is only available on Windows 10. Over half of all of your web developers develop on a Mac. If you can't run Edge on a Mac, you can't test your websites on Edge. Therefore, websites don't get tested on Edge. Therefore, websites on Edge don't always work the way they're intended to. But they work great in Chrome. So now what you're seeing is a consolidation of the browser market, and Firefox is literally standing alone as the only massively adopted. They have about 30% of the browser market option out there that's not going to be Google owned. So if you are a privacy advocate, you need to be on Firefox because nothing else out there it's all Google now. Everything, all Google all the time. All right, let's see. So Opera, it's not a bad product. Honestly, I don't use it. I don't think I've used it maybe once in my entire life. So I can't really give you a personal recommendation on it. But I haven't heard anything about it being dead either. I mean, I can Google real quick here and check. Opera browser safe. Okay, let's see. Is Opera safe? This is from 2017. Reasonably safe. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so the argument here is Opera is more safe than other browsers in the same way that Macs are more safe than PCs. Because Opera has such a low share of the market, it is not cost effective for malware makers to target Opera browsers, so they don't. Therefore, you see fewer viruses on Opera than you do through other browsers. Run good antivirus and it's not a problem. So there we go. Since the Cox announcement that Omaha is now a gigabyte city, do we need to replace our modems? Honestly, yes. What's going to happen is if you upgrade to gigabit, now it's not available in all areas. Like, for example, I have Cox cable service in Papillion. I'm just outside of Papillion city limits, and I can't get it. So it's available in the city, but I can't get it. The gigabit connection is the only way you can get rid of the data cap because the gigabit technology is so much faster. They can cram more signal in the same pipe, so they're not too concerned about bandwidth anymore. So it's the only way that you can get rid of the data cap. After you factor in what you're paying for internet now, and if you're hitting your data cap, what you're paying for overages, the gigabit service might actually be cheaper. Is something to look into. But yes, you would need a new modem. One of the things I always recommend for my customers, if you're going to get your phone service through your internet provider and you're on cable, for example, get the phone modem, get the phone service through the cable company, because then they have to give you a modem. Now, the modem they give you for your phone service, it doubles as an internet modem, right? So now you don't have to pay monthly for the internet modem. You don't have to shell out $100 to buy it yourself. And if anything ever goes wrong with the modem, Cox has to replace it at their cost on their schedule, not your cost on your schedule. Modems burn out every couple years. In fact, we're due for a replacement of ours. It's acting up at home right now. So with that said, yeah, you're going to need a new modem, but it's not a big deal. If you get the phone modem, Cox will have to provide it for you, so it'll work out. All right, good morning, Russell. You're just getting off work? Wow, you work the night shift apparently, huh? How would one check if a website is not current for the new year changes? That is a great question. Let me see if there's a way for... Normally what you have to do is you have to contact your hosting provider and ask them what version of PHP my server is running. So how to determine what version of PHP a website is using. Let's see if there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it if you're the hosting admin. Yeah, I know that. There's got to be a way to do it because the hackers are doing it, right? All right. Yeah, there's a PHP command where you can echo the PHP version. How to easily check and update the version of PHP of your WordPress website. This is from January of 18. Oh, let's see. WordPress exists on PHP. I don't need the short overview. What's the PHP version? Yes, okay, great. How to check your version. Check your management hosting panel. Okay, use a WordPress plugin. If you have a WordPress website, there's a plugin called Display PHP Version you can install that will show you the PHP version. Yeah, but it doesn't seem like there's a way to just pull it up in the browser, actually. Okay, finding out what version of PHP a site is running. Okay. Yes, you can run a script. You can run a PHP script. So unfortunately, the only way to really know is to contact your hosting provider and ask them what version of PHP your website is running. Or to say what version the website is running is a little bit deceptive. All right, so your web server can run multiple versions of PHP. It can be running PHP 5, PHP 6, and PHP 7 or 7.1. Your website is calling a particular version of PHP that the server is running. So your website might be dependent on PHP 5.2. If that's the case, all the 5x ones are not safe. So what we need to do instead is have your website call PHP 6 or 7. And so then what you have to do is basically ask your hosting provider to check and see which one it's pulling. Then they'll check and see which one it's pulling, and then they can change it to 6. Then you go through your website and see if anything breaks. And if something is broken, you call them back real quick. Oh my gosh, change it back to 5. And they change it back to 5, and everything works again. Then you go through and you fix what broke, and then you change it back again. That's how you have to do it if you're doing it yourself. If you, for example, let's say you moved the website to Schrock, and you wanted us at Schrock Interactive to handle it for you. We would spin up a test bed, and we would load your website in a test bed. While your site is live and your customers are using it and everything is fine, while we have time in January, we'll spin up a test bed, and then in the test bed, we'll switch the version of PHP. And if nothing breaks in the test bed, now we know without having to disrupt your website that your website will work fine with PHP 7. So we upgrade, we change the version that your website calls, and everything as predicted works great. That's the kind of seamless stuff that we do at Schrock Interactive. That's why I know we have 3 customers right now who desperately need to have their websites either completely redesigned or modified, plugins modified, so they're compatible with PHP 7. And I can't get them to call me back. I have called them on their last statement, their billing statement. I hand wrote on the billing statement, please call me back. I am trying to get a hold of you because your website's going to go down in January if you don't call me back. And they paid the bill and they didn't call me back. It is that time of the year, so maybe it's part of it. But nevertheless, if you're saying, oh, I'll get to it next week, you got 5 weeks left to get to this. There's not a whole lot of next weeks. And if it's a redesign, that usually minimum takes 4 weeks. Minimum. So if we have 5 weeks left, you're going to wait till next week. How many people are going to do that? And then, of course, there's going to be all the people on January 1st when all the websites get hacked and their website goes down because of the PHP, or their website stops working because somebody else's site went down, and the server administrator who wasn't paying attention before says, oh, darn, I better fix that. And he updates everything, and then it breaks everybody's website. That's when you're going to hear about it. If you have a website, guys, this is super serious. Don't wait to hear about that. Just give us a call at Schrock. If you move the website over to us, it's $30 a month for hosting. You get our award-winning service. You get 2 complimentary, securely hosted emails that are hosted through Rackspace and are spam-proof with Mailgun. When I say spam-proof, what I mean, Mailgun offers deliverability solutions that ensure that your emails get where they're going. Do you know, as a business owner, almost half the emails that you send, if you put a CC on the email, they don't get delivered to either party. If you copy more than 3 people on one email, if you're a user, if you use AOL and you send an email to 3 different people, that's considered spam and gets automatically marked as spam by Cox, by Time Warner, by Gmail, sends to promotions, Hotmail, and AOL will both send it to spam. Because it's simply because you copied a few people. You're sending pictures of the grandkids to 3 people, that's enough to do it. And we do that all the time. So, hey, I'm responding to a customer that has a question. I'm going to copy in, of course, the customer on my response, and I'm going to copy in one of my service center guys that I want to work with that customer. That happens all the time in business. And if you do that every day, 3 service centers, you get added to spam lists, and it's not fun. So basically, we segment everything. We put email on a server over here. We use Rackspace hosted email, so it's secure and it's safe. It's on its own server, not in a closet somewhere. It's on an actual server. Then we use Mailgun as a layer on top of that to make sure that your emails get out. We have a church that sends a bulletin once a week. Their bulletins weren't getting delivered because they were spamming, because they were sending it to multiple people at one time. So bottom line, guys, Schrock stuff is the real deal. It's legit hosting. It's not $6 a month like it is on GoDaddy. It's not. But we offer a level of service that you're never going to get from GoDaddy. Not to mention that all of the Schrock Interactive staff is not outsourced in India. Alfonso, Mark, myself, all the guys, they're in the Omaha Service Center. They are sitting there. You can call them. They're at extension 1100. And you can call them and talk to them. And they're right there. You want to have a meeting with Mark about your search engine optimization? He'll come out to your business and have a meeting with you. You have an idea for a website? You want to talk to me about fleshing out an idea? Let's have a meeting. Let's talk about it. Hey, Alfonso, I want to do this super complicated thing. Can you do that? Not a problem. We can do that. So it's amazing. The stuff we can do is amazing. We're just about to finish up the city of Louisville's website. We're just getting their content placed. The Cass County Rural Water District, we have given them some cutting edge stuff. Once that's done, I'd love to have them on the show to talk about what we're doing for Cass County rural water customers. Because the template that we're designing is a 21st century notification system that is going to be increasingly needed in the age that we live in. Problems with the water, it's a key terrorism. Like, you don't realize this, but all these rural water districts, they have some severe federal regulations they deal with. Because imagine a terrorist messing with the water in a farming community. Oh, wow, that would be bad. And so, like, if you're told you have to notify all your customers in 24 hours of a water issue, and you have to physically notify each customer in 24 hours in a rural area, that's a lot of people in a lot of geographical space. It's not possible. Rural water districts have an office of like 3 or 4 people. You can't do it. You need tech to do that. And now we built them tech that no other water district has to do that. It's just amazing stuff. So we do cool stuff like this all the time for people. If you bought fireworks for the 4th of July, chances are Schrock Innovations was involved in that supply chain somewhere in Nebraska, because one of the major fireworks resellers in Nebraska uses custom developed software from Schrock Interactive to make sure that all the other fireworks stands in town get the fireworks that they order from China. Happy America. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's like, it's neat when we're in the supply chain and we get to be a part of this, and we get to make sure that these cool, innovative things happen. And that's what we're so excited about 5G. It's going to open up so many possibilities for things that could have never been done before. Mobile websites might go away. Well, the whole point of a mobile website was it's a smaller site because you have less bandwidth. Well, if your phone has more bandwidth, why do we need the mobile site anymore? Business owners would love to get rid of that mobile site. That's a pain in the butt. So that's pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. All right. So again, this brief AfterSchrock is becoming too long. I got to start wrapping it up. Bruce loves the show. What's up with the new iPad Pros? Bending so easy. No kidding. It's not just the new ones. Literally, we have one on the bench in Papillion right now, and it looks like a banana. I mean, we put it on the bench, and it's like, how did the screen not crack? And honestly, we're just getting to the point. We have pushed these materials as far as we can push them scientifically, like physically, to do the things they want to do. Apple wants these thin, light, sleek devices, and we're getting to the point where you can't make them any thinner, lighter, or sleeker because you're compromising the integrity of the device. It's bending and it's warping. So that's something that we're seeing, as well as charging port. A lot of charging port problems with the new iPad Pros. They pull a lot of juice because they're trying to be a computer, but they're not, according to Microsoft, that is. Let's see. Looking forward to your plan. My plan? Oh, my plan for 2019 sales. They're going to be stupid. Oh, gosh, it's going to be fun. The very first thing that we're going to do in 2019 is we're going to have a no labor sale. That's when you can come in and have it's a very specific thing we're going to offer that everyone's going to want. And we're already ordering parts in for this that are getting delivered to the service center because we know how big it's going to be. But we're going to do a huge upgrade service for people at no labor cost. As you know, computer parts aren't that expensive when it comes down to it. It's the labor that kills you because you pay as much for the labor as the part. So this is almost like a half-off sale. So it's going to be pretty cool. So it's just a very specific thing, though. It's not all labor. It's a very specific thing, but it's so specific that I'm like, I was talking to the lovely Kimberly yesterday, and I said, you know, We have 3 service centers, and I'm ordering 40 of these devices to start the sale to each service center. So, you know, we'll have 120 of these devices on hand to do upgrades. I wonder if I'll have to order more or if that will be good for the sale. Do we run the sale for the whole month, or was it a wall supplies last kind of thing? Because I'm ordering so many of these devices now that my manufacturers are starting to get concerned because I'm buying them all. And we're going to be getting cases of these things in. It's going to be crazy. So you're gonna love that sale. That one's going to be very impressive. And in February, we're actually had a customer 2 weeks ago on the AfterSchrock request a particular item go on sale that we've never put on sale before, and that's what's going to go on sale in February. So if you have suggestions about things you want to see go on sale, you guys know we do maintenance checkup sales every 6 months. You know that we do recycling all the time for free. You know we do the holiday special. We do the ultimate upgrade. You know, a couple computer sales. We do a Norton and a secure updater sale. You know, we do all those things once a year. What I'm talking about is what are things that we don't normally do that you would like to see go on sale, like blow your mind kind of stuff. Give me some ideas, and I'll be out. And like I said, the February sale is actually a customer request, so it's kind of cool. Bruce had an Asus tablet that bent and the screen broke. The Mart says, so sad, too bad. Yeah, I think, Keith, oh, yeah, Keith, you were talking to Bruce. Yep, same thing. So sad, too bad, unfortunately. Buy some good donuts for the family. Merry Christmas. All right, Thor. You have a great crew in Papillion. They're so close to me, and it's easy to get to their store. Merry Christmas and stay healthy. You know, I'm going to work on it. I need to get a few more days on the treadmill and a few less donuts. But thank you guys very much for your holiday wishes. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you, too. I can't begin to thank you. I was thinking about this last night. You know, you get to the end of the year, especially as a business owner, you get to the end of the year, and you're looking back on the year. And this was a year full of drama at Schrock because we had so many people leave. And they all left for good reasons. They were all, well, one person I fired, but the rest of them were all leaving for good reasons. But the people, the one I fired left for good reasons too. But I don't fire people often. I hate that part. I love hiring people. I hate firing people. But the people who moved on, they all moved on in their careers, and they moved up in life. And like I said, these are young kids. These are kids I was paying $13, $15 an hour to. And now they're moving into huge career opportunities that are life-changing for them. And so it's a good story. It's a good, heartwarming story, except when they all move on at the same time and they're all in your Lincoln Service Center and you lose everybody in the shop. And you're like, uh-oh, I guess I'm going to Lincoln today. And I know that there's no physical way one person can handle Lincoln by himself, even me, you know. So Drake, want to come with me from Omaha? I'll pay to relocate you. Yay, okay, let's get some hires in here. Eli, Kane. Hey, we got you guys hired. There was another guy, I won't give his name. He started with us. He had a nervous breakdown and quit. I guess it's stressful. I don't know, guys. Some of these kids, literally, some of these kids are on so many anxiety medications, it's not even funny. And, you know, people have problems in life. People take anxiety medicine. I'm not making fun of that. But when you see, like, 15-year-old kids taking Xanax, what's up with that? You know, holy cow, like, are we pushing kids to not be kids so they're just freaked out about life now? And then, you know, if you have a problem in the shop and the customer gets upset with you, they're not upset with you. They're not upset with me. I had a customer yesterday that was upset about a data recovery that was taking, he felt too long to accomplish. It's very easy for us to say he doesn't understand the technical dimensions of what he's asking for. He has some misconceptions about what the process was going to be like. That's on us for not communicating properly what the procedure would be like. He asked for a payment plan. So he started paying, but we don't start work till the payments are made in full because it's a data recovery. It's a little bit different than something else you'd pay on. So there was a lot of confusion all the way around. So in his mind, we've had his device for months and months and months, and we haven't done anything, and he thinks he's being scammed. In our minds, we've been working on this device for about 4 weeks, and it's a camera card that required a monolith recovery that is only available from Germany. The monolith is only made in Germany, and they did not have one for his card. It had to be made for this recovery. And you know, that's the way recoveries work sometimes. And he doesn't want to hear it. He's upset. He's done. I get it. I'm coming in Wednesday to see the progress. And like, it's a data recovery. There's nothing to see. It's not like you're going to see like a, you know, a Jacob's ladder with, you know, electric going up it. You're going to, here's your card. Here's the monolith. What do you want me to show you? Here's the pieces of your card because it's been disassembled to put the chip in the monolith. So when you get calls like that, these kids, you have to tell them, they're not yelling at you. And even me, I take that stuff personally. It's hard not to when you own the business. But these kids, it's like you get to go home at 5 o'clock. They're not yelling at you. They're not upset with you. If you did something wrong, just own up to it. If you made a mistake, own up to it. That's all you can do. Apologize, empathize. If you need to hand the customer off to me, hand them off to me. Pass them along, and we'll get them taken care of so that they're happy. If this customer is not a good fit for this particular technician, we'll make sure they get a different technician next time. You got to find the right blend of person for customer service. It's getting hard to find, especially some of these kids. Oh my gosh, some of these people at drive-through, it's like, oh my goodness, do you ever talk to humans when you're not at work? Like, is this like a new thing for you? All right, so anyway, now I'm rambling. So anyway, guys, I want to thank you for your business. I want to thank you for the opportunity to help you. Now, that call was very telling from Maggie that we had earlier in the show last hour, where she said, hey, I was really hesitant to buy something like this from a local company. I was in the Papillion Service Center yesterday, and I had a customer, and Parker wasn't quite sure how to handle this one because he's never heard this one before, because some of these younger kids have come on, and for them, literally, Schrock has been around longer than they've been alive, which is like, oh my gosh, I'm so old. And so this customer comes in, and we're offering him Endpoint. He needs Endpoint. He brought it in to have us remove a virus from his computer, and he's just going to take it home again and install McAfee. And we're like, no, anything but that, not the McAfee. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you want to buy, you can go out and buy Kaspersky. You can go out and buy Norton Security. Just don't buy McAfee. Well, I thought McAfee was pretty good. No, even John McAfee, the guy who made McAfee originally and then sold it to Intel for a boatload of money, now says he wouldn't run it on his own computer because it's garbage. So I don't know if it was garbage before when he had it or if Intel turned it into garbage, but he and I are both of the same opinion on this matter. I wouldn't run it on my computer if you paid me. So we don't, and they've offered to pay me. We don't run it. AVG also, at least once a year, begs us to sell their antivirus software, offers to pay us per license that we install on top of what our customers pay us. And it's not as good as Endpoint. So we're trying to tell him he needs Endpoint. And he's like, how do I know you're going to be around next year? And I heard this from the front desk, and I'm deaf in one ear. So for me to hear this, it was pretty loud. And I heard this, and I was like, I have not heard that in years. I remember that uncomfortable feeling in the pit of your stomach. Like, how do you prove a negative? Like, I will be here in a few years. Like, how do you, I used to say, like, back in the day, I was like, well, I've got a mortgage on my house, I've got a wife, and I've got a kid, and we live here in town. So I'm not going anywhere. So, and I'm Schrock, so I'll be here. Will you? That was my response back in the day, especially if they get kind of pushy. And this guy was a little pushy about it. So I kind of walked around the corner, and I was watching Parker, and he was kind of stammering and stuttering a little bit, like, how do I handle it? I've never had this objection before. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go help him out. So I went out there, and I was like, hey, Parker, wow, I heard that one. Hey, that's a great one. I haven't heard that one in years. See, like, we're going to have our 20th anniversary, and I mean, we used to get that all the time, Parker, like year 1, year 2. That was like why would I buy a computer from you? How do I know you're going to be around next year to support it? Because lots of computer companies come and go. So I totally get the question. And so then Parker kind of faded into the back, and I took over the conversation. And he did get the Endpoint. At the end of the day, his wife was just like, just buy it. So they did. She was talking to him like, quit arguing, just buy it. He says, what do you need? I don't want to bring this back next week and pay for another virus removal. And that was kind of the clincher line. I was like, well, listen, here's the thing. I totally get it. If you want to get Kaspersky, get Kaspersky. If you want to get Norton Security, get Norton Security. Endpoint is the best you can buy. It's what we sell. It's the only thing we sell. We won't sell anything else. We won't even install anything else. If you ask us to install AVG, we will not do it because there's an expectation of support when we install something. And we don't support free antivirus software. It's a nightmare. So I told him, here's the thing. Statistically speaking, most people who don't buy Endpoint when they have us remove the first virus, on the second one, they have us install it. The second visit, they always have us install it. Because you're going to pay us the $100 to remove the virus. Then you're going to take it home. You're going to get reinfected again. Then you're going to come back, and you're going to pay me $100 again to remove the virus. And I'm going to ask you again, do you want the Endpoint now? most people say yes at that point. And we usually don't charge them for the second virus if they say yes to the endpoint, because they should have said yes the first time, and we're just nice like that. So service is at the core of what we do. And we can't deliver service without you, without your recommendations and your reviews and telling your friends and family about us. Marketing is expensive, and it's hard to market to everybody because there's so many places. There's TV, there's radio, there's internet, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's all these places where you have to be, and it's almost impossible to be in all of them, and it's almost unaffordable for a local company to be in all of them at the same time. You guys are the heart of our business. And I appreciate your trust. I appreciate the trust you put into me and my employees. We take that trust very seriously. And in 2019, we have an epic thank you plan. I can guarantee you, if there's something that you need for your technology stuff, you're going to get it on special in 2019 because there's going to be some great sales. So thank you very much. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas. Stay safe. Spend some time with the family. If you're struggling or dealing with stuff, someone in my family passed away this year. It was an unfortunate situation, and I don't want to go into too many details about it because some of my family from Illinois are watching, and it's going to be a rough Christmas for them this year. So if you're dealing with something like that, our hearts and prayers go out to you. Stay strong, stay safe, and we'll see you again for another year in 2019 for Compute This. We'll see it one more time in 2018, but then in 2019 as well. Don't miss next week, guys. Thorstradamus is in the house next week. So we'll see y'all then. Have a great afternoon and a Merry Christmas.